You wake up at the same time every morning, even if you no longer care what day it is. The light comes on, the door stays closed, time begins to move differently. Most people imagine prison as a place filled with violence. Movies teach you to expect danger every minute. TV shows you fights, riots, and dramatic escapes, but the real answer is far stranger. Most prisoners spend their days doing something much more difficult. They wait. Your brain was never designed for endless waiting. For hundreds of thousands of years, your ancestors moved through forests, crossed plains, searched for food, watched the weather, and depended on other people for survival. Every hour contained a problem to solve. Every day demanded action. What happens when almost nothing changes? A prisoner may spend 23 hours inside the same room. The walls stay the same. The sounds repeat. The routine returns again and again. Could your mind adapt to that? The day often begins before sunrise. Lights turn on, doors open, counts begin. Correctional officers verify that everyone is present. Numbers matter. Schedules matter. Small routines become extremely important because routine becomes one of the only ways to organize time. Psychologist Philip Zimbardo became famous for the Stanford Prison Experiment in 1971. The study had many flaws and later criticism, yet it revealed something important. Environments shape behavior very quickly. When daily life changes, the mind changes with it. Your surroundings begin to tell you who you are. Breakfast may last only a few minutes. Meals become anchors in time. Instead of saying it is 9 in the morning, prisoners may think in terms of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The clock becomes less important than the institution itself. Have you ever noticed how time changes during a vacation or a long illness? After breakfast, some prisoners go to work assignments. Others return to their cells. Some clean hallways. Some work in kitchens. Some wash laundry. Some spend hours performing repetitive tasks that create structure more than productivity. Human beings need structure. The neuroscientist Carl Friston argues that the brain constantly tries to reduce uncertainty. Your mind predicts what happens next. It builds models of the world. Prison removes much of the outside world, yet it also removes uncertainty. Every meal arrives at a certain time. Every count follows a schedule. Every movement has rules. Strange as it sounds, some prisoners describe routine as comforting. The greatest enemy is often boredom. Not fear, not violence, boredom. Research by psychologist John Eastwood describes boredom as the desire to engage with the world combined with the inability to do so. Your attention wants something meaningful. Nothing arrives, minutes become longer. Hours stretch outward. What does your brain do with empty time? Many prisoners read. Libraries become valuable places. Books allow movement without moving. A person may travel through history, science, or fiction while remaining inside the same walls. Reading becomes transportation. Others write letters. The act seems old-fashioned outside prison, yet letters slow time down. Every message requires patience. Days pass between questions and answers. Human connection survives through paper. Some exercise constantly, push-ups, walking, running, small circles in limited spaces. The body becomes one of the few things a person can still control. Anthropologists often describe movement as one of humanity's oldest needs. Your ancestors walked many miles every day. Physical activity may reduce anxiety because your brain evolved in bodies that moved. Prison yards become social spaces. People walk together, they talk, they exchange stories. Humans are social animals. The evolutionary psychologist Robin Dunbar proposed that human brains evolved partly to manage relationships within groups. Isolation creates stress because your nervous system expects other people. Even silence has meaning. Prisoners learn when to speak and when to remain quiet. Small social rules become important. Respect matters. Territory matters. Reputation matters. Why do such rules appear everywhere humans live? Anthropologists studying hunter-gatherer societies often find similar patterns. Cooperation reduces conflict. Shared rules increase survival. Groups create customs because predictability helps people live together. A prison population may develop informal systems that exist beside official rules. Lunch arrives, another marker in time, another division between morning and afternoon. Some prisoners count days, others stop counting entirely. Time itself changes shape. Research by Craig Haney, who studied long-term incarceration and isolation, found that many prisoners experience altered perceptions of time. Days may feel endless while years disappear quickly. The mind struggles to measure experience when events rarely change. If every Tuesday looks identical to every Wednesday, how do you remember them? Outside prison, your life contains novelty. New conversations, new screens, new information. Your brain receives thousands of signals each day. Inside prison, the signal becomes weaker. The environment becomes narrower. Many prisoners develop rituals: coffee at a certain hour, exercise before dinner, reading before sleep. Rituals create identity. They say that you still control something. Some become artists, some draw, some write poetry, some carve objects. Creativity may survive even in restrictive conditions because imagination remains difficult to imprison. The human mind constantly builds alternative worlds. Violence does happen, fear does exist, yet many former prisoners describe monotony as the greatest challenge. Endless repetition can become exhausting. Have you ever waited in an airport during a delay that seemed to last forever? Imagine that feeling expanding across years. TV often becomes important. News programs, sports, and movies create windows into another world. Yet they also remind prisoners of distance. The outside world continues moving, technology changes, cities change, families change. Psychologists sometimes describe humans as future-oriented creatures. You imagine tomorrow, you plan next year, you create goals. Prison can narrow the future. The horizon becomes shorter. The next meal, the next phone call, the next visit. Visits matter enormously. A conversation across glass or at a table may sustain someone for weeks. Human contact affects the body itself. Social connection influences stress hormones, heart function, and emotional stability. Your ancestors survived together. The body still remembers. Even sounds become meaningful. Doors closing, keys moving, footsteps approaching, loudspeakers. These noises create the rhythm of institutional life. Eventually, some former prisoners report hearing these sounds long after release. Dinner arrives, another transition, another marker, another small event that divides the day. It may seem insignificant outside prison. Inside prison, it matters. After dinner, many prisoners return to their cells. Some talk with cellmates, some watch TV, some think, some stare at walls. Solitude can become reflection, but too much solitude may become suffering. Neuroscientists studying social isolation have found that the brain responds strongly to loneliness. Research by John Cacioppo showed that social disconnection influences attention, stress, and physical health. Humans do not merely enjoy companionship, they depend upon it. The evening may be the hardest time. The activity of the day ends, the noise decreases, thoughts become louder, regret appears, anxiety appears, memory returns. What happens when there is nowhere to go and nothing to distract you? Many prisoners think about ordinary things: walking outside, cooking dinner, sitting in traffic, hearing rain, seeing trees. The absence of small experiences can become surprisingly painful. Nature matters. Environmental psychologists have repeatedly found that natural settings reduce stress and restore attention. Some prisons offer very little contact with trees, open space, or changing weather. Your nervous system evolved outdoors. Concrete cannot fully replace landscapes. Sleep eventually arrives, or sometimes it does not. Noise, light, anxiety, and stress may interrupt rest. Yet another day waits on the other side of sleep. The schedule repeats. Wake up, count, breakfast, wait, lunch, wait, dinner, sleep. Over time, prisoners often become experts in observing details. A small change in schedule matters. A different officer matters. A new person arriving matters. When the environment becomes smaller, tiny differences become important. This may sound foreign, yet parts of it already exist in your own life. Modern jobs often repeat the same tasks. Digital routines repeat every morning. Notifications replace natural events. Commutes repeat, weeks disappear. Have you ever looked up and wondered where the year went? The ancient human brain evolved for movement, novelty, social connection, and changing environments. Prison removes many of those things, yet the brain still searches for meaning. It creates routines, it builds friendships, it counts days, it reads books, it imagines futures. That may be the strangest answer of all. Most prisoners do not spend every day fighting. Most prisoners spend every day trying to remain human. They wake up, they wait, they talk, they remember, they exercise, they read, they hope. The extraordinary challenge is not surviving danger every hour. The extraordinary challenge is surviving sameness. Your ancestors crossed deserts, survived winters, escaped predators, and depended on one another around fires. The modern prison removes many of those ancient conditions, yet the old brain remains inside the walls. And perhaps that explains why prison feels so frightening even to people who have never experienced it. It is not only the loss of freedom, it is the loss of movement, uncertainty, nature, and choice. It is the removal of experiences your brain evolved to expect. Tomorrow morning, you will probably wake up, check your phone, choose your breakfast, walk outside, and decide where to go. You may not think about those choices at all, but somewhere another person will wake up at the same time as yesterday. The light will turn on, the door will remain closed, time will begin to move differently. You wake up at the same time every morning, even if you no longer care what day it is. Only now you understand that the hardest part was never the cell. It was what endless waiting does to a human mind.